You're such an asshole.
Morning, children. Hello, children. Hey, Lord Asshole. Lord Asshole. I like that. Lord. Duke Asshole. Baron Asshole. I'd like a video request and ask that you please keep me anonymous. I like your thoughts about getting older when it comes to dating and the world of work. I'm sharing some experiences and concerns below. On the first part, I've noticed since going more gray that I'm getting a lot more attention from women. I remember my old man, God rest his soul, saying dating girls gets so much easier after 30, but used to think it was bullcrap. Well, I haven't found my Laura Petrie. Who's Laura Petrie? I gotta look that up. Now you piqued my interest. Petrie piqued my interest. Come on, load up. There we go. Who's Laura Petrie? Oh, it's Mary. It's Mary Tyler Moore. The character she played in the Dick Van Dyke show. Mary Tyler Moore was hot. You know who else was hot? You guys aren't gonna believe me. You're not gonna believe me until you look it up. Aunt B from the Andy Griffith Show. Look up her when she was a younger actress. Obviously, it's like, oh wow, what happened? Woohoo! All the men in the 50s got it all. I refused to sell for someone without those old school values. I could confirm how right he was. Wondering what your experiences have been since getting older as far as the dating game goes, or women just in general. Do you feel you've gotten noticed more, and why do you think this is? Keep in mind I clocked out on dating 32, 33, so this is a decade, well, even more, maybe 31 I clocked out. It does get easier. I don't know if it has anything to do necessarily with gray hair. You can make the argument that touch of gray, I got too much of a touch of gray, but if you got that touch of gray, it indicates that you are wiser, more mature, not than your peers, you're older, you're wiser, and that you likely have resources and fun. So on a genetic, Darwinistic, evolutionary, blah, blah, blah level, I think women are okay with a guy having a little bit of gray. Plus, they usually indicate you're in your prime earning years. We could go down this standard route, of which I'm not discounting. It's just that we've gone down that, and that's some low-hanging fruit that we can obviously point out. Another thing, I do know this for sure, because I was what you would call an accidental alpha, and it started when I was I think 19 or 20, where I was just so busy with school and work that I didn't have time for girls. They had either put up, or shut up. And yeah, I date a lot, but if it took any work to get laid, they weren't gonna go have sex, or they were gonna give me the slightest bit of guff, or they would stand me up, boom, done. Didn't have time for it. And that not necessarily aloofness, but I got other shit to do, lady. I'll walk. And not even, and being so busy, you'd have to cancel. I started noticing that the girls that I definitely chased after I want to get, and the girls that I'd say, I'm sorry, I'd like to date you, but I got to work, gave me some preliminary empirical data and evidence that, well, wait a minute, every time I had to cancel a date and reschedule, that resulted in not only getting the date, but 3, 4, and then I'd either get laid, or it definitely went beyond the first date. So that then kind of cued me in. And then when I was 25, I kind of realized all the girls I was dating were shitty. And it wasn't because I was fishing in the wrong hole, or maybe you just attract the wrong type of one. Great video, by the way. Watch that one. It was because the girls out there were shitty. I always got a kick. Well, maybe you're fishing in the wrong hole. It's the hole is the world. The hole is the only requirement pretty much every guy has, is she's good enough to bang. She's physically attractive enough to bang. So it wasn't I only fish in the Jewish hole, or I only fish in the suburb hole. It was nope, you ask any guy, how big is your fishing pond? As big as it can be, and I still want to bang them. I mean, about the only hole we won't fish in is the ugly hole. And then, anyway, when I realized that practically all the women we're just now, forget marriage, we're like second date worthy material. It was down and depressing, and that really hits a man where you're genetically, no matter how much you want to bang the table and say rah rah men, we're all genetically, biologically, Darwinistically programmed to want women. That's the number one thing. But to get to the point when you realize the number one thing is such low quality caliber and slop, just utter crap, then you're like, oh shit, I mean, that's a huge thing knocked out of your life. That's a huge thing. And you're like, I gotta lower my standards. How much? This is what's available on the menu? Like, this is horrible. This is not... And again, I have sympathies and leniencies towards the MGTOW community where it's like, well, fuck, I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do that. But it still is a little bit depressing when your number one biological hardwired drive, your point and purpose, is what it's like when Wally. It'd be like if Wally found out his point and purpose is not to stack garbage anymore. You're like, what? What do I do? But I'm a garbage stacker. That's what I'm supposed to. Like, no, you ain't got no garbage. Sorry. So my point is with having this epiphany, most men by the age of 30, maybe a little bit later, but at some point in time, men get to the point where they're like, they've dated enough, the novelty is gone, they've had sex, and they all of a sudden a light bulb goes on where like, this sucks. Maybe it's because you realize you're finite, or all of a sudden you're starting to make money and your career starts to demand more and more of your time. You don't have time for it anymore. You don't have the patience. It wears out. It wears thin. And then I would also argue that as you get older, your testosterone goes down, and you're not this horn dog 18-year-old that needs to get laid all the time. You're all of a sudden, you're 30, or you're 35, or you're 27, whatever. You're like, yeah, I think I'll go rub one out. And another thing is you have more self-respect. It's not, I want to go out with that girl because I want to have sex. You're kind of like, well, what do I really want to do? Aside from that, what would I really like to do? Well, I'd like to watch the game, or I'd like to stay at home, or I'd like to play video games, or I'd like to get some more work done. You get the spin of the roulette wheel or a known thing of scotch. Okay, you put $10 down on the roulette wheel. 48% chance you're going to win black or red. But with a scotch, $10 scotch, you know what you're going to get. And so instead of gambling with your time and like, I hope it comes up red, oh dang, it came up black again. You're like, hey, you know what, I'm going to have this good scotch. I did want to play roulette, but the statistics are just not there. And right now, I need a for sure return of investment. I'm not investing in stocks. I'm investing in bonds now. I want my regular interest payment. I've tried. I didn't do well in stocks. I didn't do well at roulette. Now I want my guaranteed utility. I'm going to get out of this glass of scotch. And so I think that is what happens when you turn. And then once you no longer have an interest in women, then their Schrodinger's cat, their concern you're not paying them attention kind of kicks in. Also, you're not pawing at them. Let's be also very clear at that. Once you have something going on in life and you're like, nah, I can leave. I really do have important shit to do. Women pick up on that because usually that indicates that you have an income, you have a life, you have a core, you're an interesting man. Instead of like these 18, 19-year-old kids, where no offense to you 18, 19-year-old boys out there, but you ain't got enough. You're in the middle of creating something going on. You're at the beginning stages. You don't have anything going on. And you're just pawing at the girls like, sex? Why would I have sex with you? 'Cause I want it? It doesn't work that way. So girls are usually aiming older, I don't want to say higher, but higher income, but not just because of money and income and Darwinism, blah, 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 but also because older guys, I don't mean 80-year-old guys, but guys 5-10 years older than these girls have something interesting going on because they're not at that stage yet. So you boys just got to wait your time. But that's what happens. It is about 30, ever so roughly at 30, and once you start getting a little bit of gray, these are called whiskers of no longer giving a fuck. That's what they're called. They're whiskers of I don't give a fuck no more. And then women all of a sudden, oh, what's he got? Why isn't he paying? Oh, it's so sad. I know, guys. It's one of the hardest lessons to learn about women. Is you don't get them by treating them nice, and that sucks. It really sucks. You don't get them by treating them like crap either. You don't go the other direction, although some women do respond to actual abuse. They'll stick with guy. I saw in Wyoming, man, they just right plumb pump them and they punch them and I don't care anymore. I'm not fishing in that hole. But they do like aloofness. They like indifference. They like a man who doesn't need them. And that's about, your thrill. Career and other things are stats where you're starting to get. That's where it's great to be a man. Where all of a sudden, hey, I got stuff going on. And my testosterone's a little bit down. And no, I'm not going to chase it. And I'm impatient. I've dated enough of you. And by the way, here are the. And then a lot of girls like rules. Oh, by the way, here are the rules. You're showing up. I remember, this is great. My buddy was 30. We're all like in our younger 30s or late 20s. And he had broken up with this girl who he had been dating for quite some time. And he was dating around. He had zero fucks to give. And then he pulls this little 22-year-old girl. We're like, yeah, you just fine, dog. And she tried to pull her standard antics. I don't know if she stood him up or started to get dramatic. And he told her, you're not pulling that shit around me. And you can, he said, you're not going to do that. Don't even, and he nipped it in the bud. He didn't even let it. He's like, no, we're not going to do that here. We don't do that here. And if you do, you go date one of those little boys who just got hit puberty last week. Okay, we're not doing that here. And then after that, she was all over him. And like the doting little girlfriend, she wasn't his wife, but almost like that. And you don't rule me. I basically rule you. And if you don't like it, you may go away because I have stuff to do. So it's a confluence of events. Your testosterone going down, other opportunities opening up. It's great to be a man in his 30s. It's great. 40s even better now. I'm fine. As long as you play your cards right, guys, it's great. And then you figure out girls a little bit, and then you just there's so much other stuff to do, and you put it in context. It's like, if you want to be part of this life, you better perform. And so all of a sudden it kind of starts to, it's not just about, oh, she's hot and I want to have sex with her. You actually have some bargaining power too, being indifference, getting tired, when I can jerk off to porn and go to bed and not have to worry about listening to you blather about your TV shows that you watch. My other question is how age affects one's chances of employment. I know you won't remember this, but I was the now nearly 40-year-old janitor who a while back asked for a video request about Team Treehouse after studying for nearly 2 years. I am ready to start applying for development jobs. The thing is, I hear so much talk about age discrimination in the tech industry and wonder how legit it is, or if it's just the usual negativity you see online. Do you think having gray is an advantage or disadvantage when it comes to the job hunt? If the latter, should a man ever dye his hair? Let's do overall and then IT and then Clary's philosophy. Overall, so I did the video, don't try until you're 35. It is amazing. It is, how can I put it? If you had come to me, if you were any kind of finance industry hiring manager, and if you had come to me the day I graduated from college and hired me, you would have gotten an incredibly intelligent individual, an incredibly determined. I was willing to work 80 hours a week, and if you had put the time to train, that's another thing. Oh, hit the ground running. Excuse me, you're going to show me this off? Why don't you hit the ground running? I would have slayed dragons, leveled mountains back then. But no one would hire me, in part because I just didn't look old enough. The last real job I had, I didn't mail it in. I certainly put in my effort, but because I had that touch of gray, they paid me a hell of a lot more. And it wasn't, how could I put it, wasn't adversarial, but I kept the higher ups. I'm like, no, we're not, kind of a lot like women. No, we're not going to do that. How about this? But also aloof it, and they're like, no, I'll do whatever you want. You're going to pay me. I think you're nuts. if you want to waste my talents and labor, but we can do that. We can do that. Nowhere near what I was capable of, even after my skills had deteriorated quite some time after that. But where was I going with that? Oh, I wasn't putting anywhere near the amount of effort in, but they threw way more money at me. You want to know why? It's because of gray hair. It's because of age. Like, I was a less quality employee at 35 than when I was 22 in terms of what I was willing to do. And I think it's not a malicious or conscious bigotry or ageism, if you want to call it that. I think it's Darwin. I think they just think, well, you have gray hair, so yeah, we'll throw you more money. Like right now, I'm pretty sure I could go back into the banking world and demand 6 figures. And it has nothing to do with my experience. And I've been out of the game for 6 years. It has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with the fact I'm 43, I have gray hair, I have a resume, I have probably a horrible work ethic now. But I guarantee I could probably go in, get 6 figures, say, you hire me. And no, I'm not accepting below 100,000, and you're damn right you're going to pay. And they go, oh, okay. Just because I'm older. And age absolutely helps, especially men. You have to be, and this is again why I say do not try until you're 35. No one, it's sad, about the only place I will criticize Silicon Valley for many things, but one thing I will not criticize them is they are meritocratic when it comes to hiring talent. They will hire young people because they need their skills. The IT world in general is more realistic than that. The rest of the world, oh yeah, well, I don't know, maybe once you get 10 years experience doing it, it's like 10 years experience doing this petty ass mind-numbing bullshit. It's like, no. So yes, it absolutely does help to have a touch of gray. The problem though is, as you point out, is there discrimination in the world of IT? Some people say there is, some people say there's not. I don't care, I'll explain the philosophy later. But if there is, absolutely experiment. Dye your hair if you want. Whatever you got to do to get that job. If you think there is, fine. If you don't think there is, keep your hair. But I don't detest, but I get tired. It's tiresome to hear, oh, I'm old and I'm discriminated against in IT. It's like, yeah, okay. You're old. Yes, you are. You're complaining about something you don't control? I'm short and I can't get the girls. It is a waste of precious time and calories of energy to complain about something you don't control. I had a client, he was Middle Eastern or East Indian. I'm afraid to join the military because I might be discriminated against. Oh, well, I guess you should just sit and do nothing and cry yourself to sleep for the next, 60 years of your life. I'm a woman and I'll be discriminated. Oh, I guess, yep, no reason to try. So fuck it. Yeah, you're old. Yes, you might be discriminated against. Yes, I'm short. I might be discriminated against by women. Don't know if women like tall guys or not. I wonder if there was ever a girl say he's too short. What if a girl ever uttered the words, Aaron's too short for me? Oh my gosh, well, shoot, I'm too short. I should never ask a girl. Dude, if I didn't chase after tall women, I'd date, now I'm short. And I think a good third of the women I dated were taller than me. Now, of course, not all of them panned out, but I got some tall tale. The average height difference, I probably have a record there somewhere where, what percent higher women, you couldn't just say nominal height or objective height. You had to do a relative to you. What is the pool of women you banged? How much taller are they than you? And I bet you the average girl height is a good 5% to 10% taller than me. But what about, I'm short, I'm old, I'm a woman. Well, yeah, then you guarantee you're going to fail. Now, you put the time and effort into getting your certifications here and skilling up. Don't let it stop you. All right? Go and apply for jobs. Because your other option is not to. And I guarantee you one of those ways is going to result in you not having any success. But yeah, if you... in your industry, go ahead, try it. I really don't believe it's that big of a deal. I think this comes from the same group of people that, oh, STEM is getting outsourced to India. There's no reason, STEM is flooded. It's like, okay, so what? Major in English? The empirical data, starting salaries and median salaries, still tells me it's the best deal in town. Yes, you might have to train Punjab to replace you, or just tell that employer to fuck off. But it's, what else are you gonna do? It's still the best option. And so I think those are kind of, oh, there's this thing that's unfair. Yes, it is unfair. Do you want to be a Democrat and complain about it and demand the government rain manna, government money from heaven? Or do you want to get off your lazy ass and go just get a job anyway? So, but in general, overall, yeah, gray hair helps get employed. It's more valuable. Gray hair is more valuable than your college degree. I'll tell you that. Maybe I'll make that the title. So. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, AssheleConsulting.com. See you all later. Toodles.